I'm going to show you very quickly how to operate the simple sampler, and most importantly, how to record directly from a PD patch onto your computer as a WAV file. That way, anything that you play in Pure Data, you can record directly onto your computer. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the simple sampler. Put object. I've saved this into my externals folder, simp_sampler.pd. If that file is in my externals folder, then all I have to do is make this object, give it that file name, and there it is, the simple sampler. I'm going to connect a DAC and also a volume, a very basic volume. I'm just going to set my volume to 90%. Okay. So at this point, I can simply connect the sampler to my amplifier and DAC, and I'm almost ready to play. I'm going to hit Command E here so that I can interact with the simple sampler, and I'm going to click on this load button. And when I do, it opens up this file menu, and I'm going to choose a WAV file, b.wav, the one that I shared with you all, and you'll see that it loaded in here. You'll see that you can see the waveform right there. Now to actually hear this file, you have to first make sure to turn on DSP, and then now let's make it loop. Yeah. Pause, play, pause, play, pause. Turning off loop will mean that it will just play once. See, I have loop turned off, and it's going to play once, and then when it gets to the end, it should stop. Yeah, if I have it on loop, it will keep going. Now, this down here, this slider allows you to change the speed and the direction. I'm going to keep it on loop so that it will keep playing. I'm going to start playing it. Now it's going backwards. Notice that this number right here is reporting the speed and the direction. Negative means going in reverse. 0.34 means the speed that we're playing at. This green box over here tells us the original speed. The original speed is 0.069. What that means is that if I dial in 0.069, that's close enough, then this file should now be playing at its normal speed. Yep. And at any time I can hit this green button and it will immediately reset the slider and the speed to the original speed. So let me unmute. I'm going to speed it up. The other thing that Simple Sampler can do is when I click the name button, you'll see over here that it has printed out the name of the file, including the full file path to get to it. This happens to be where my file is stored. It's stored in my home folder on my desktop, in a folder for this class, in a folder that I created before spring break. That's where it is. This is the full file path. I can keep on clicking this and it will keep on printing out that full file path for me. Okay, now to record, it's very simple. I'm going to move this up a little bit so that we can see. To record, you create an object called write_sf tilde, and I'm going to give it an argument 2. What 2 does is gives me 2 inlets. This one right here and this one right here. Note if I take away that 2, I just have 1 inlet. I want there to be 2 inlets. Write_sf is just like the DAC. On the DAC, your left inlet is your left speaker, your right inlet is your right speaker. Write_sf works the same way. So I need to connect it up just like I would the DAC. Left speaker, right speaker. Now the other thing that you need to do with write_sf is you need to tell it the name of the file that you're going to save. To do that, you create a message box, which I just created using a hotkey, Command 2, but I'll also just do it through the menu. Create a message box, and you need to type in the command open followed by the name of the file that you want to create. Recording.wave. It can be anything you want. It has to end with .wave, but this part can be anything. Anything you want. I'll then connect this to the left inlet. I have to create 2 more message boxes. Start, which I'll use to start the recording, and stop, which I'll use to stop the recording. And you have to click these things in this order. First, you click the open to create the file. 2, you click start to start recording it. And 3, you click stop when you're done. This file is going, by default, to be saved to wherever this patch is saved. I named this patch Sampler and Recording Tutorial. I saved it on my desktop right here. Because this patch is on my desktop, that means that this file is going to be on my desktop. Watch what happens when I click open anything.wave. I just clicked it. This has now appeared on my desktop. I'm going to make this go away and then show you again. Watch what happens when I click open anything.wave. See? So that creates the file, but there's not actually anything in the file. To actually put things into the file, we have to click start. So I'm going to unmute this and click start and record a few seconds of audio. I'm going to click start. Stop. When I finished, I clicked stop. Now, here is the file that I just created. It's about 2.1 megabytes in size, 12 seconds long, stereo sound. That means we have left and right speakers. If I play it back, we should hear the sounds that I just played through that sampler. Cool. It's extremely beautiful. Now, you can hook up a whole bunch of these samplers and play them all and make recordings. That's one way that you can do the sampler project. One important caveat is that this file name will overwrite any already existing file name. So for instance, right now, if I click on this open anything.wave and then I click start to start recording again, and then click stop, this file is now overwritten. Now, note now that it's only 941 kilobytes, and if I were to listen back to it, it's shorter, it's different. Only 5 seconds long. So that's an important thing to remember. This file will always overwrite whatever is already there, and it will not check with you before it does that. So you have to be very careful. I would recommend that if you are going to be using WriteSF to record files, I would recommend that you get into the habit of always sort of incrementing your file name. Like maybe the first recording that you make is called take 1. You record for a little bit, stop, and then maybe the next time you record, you change it to take 2. Record for a bit, stop, and so on. That might be the safest way to do it. You can also keep this as a kind of generic recording.wave. But then what you would have to do is make sure that before you ever use it again, you go and change the file name on your desktop to something else to avoid overwriting it. Okay, I'm going to stop the tutorial there. Let me know if you have any questions.